Welcome to the Practice Program Assignment Planner. This planner will allow you to access the PESL Audio Lab with all the target phonemes in order to create custom session assignments for your client. A specific assignment link is no longer required to view assignments. The assignments you create will display on the PESL Practice Program on the dates that you indicate and will be visible each time your client logs in. The client will be able to access not only their current assignment but previous session assignments as well. You as the trainer will be able to specify the date you want the assignment to appear. You will be able to create session templates that contain sounds that you may want to use for more than one client, thus streamlining the time required to create session assignments. You will also be able to include notes, reminders, and helpful tips regarding the production of individually assigned sounds. The login site will be the same for both you and your client when accessing the practice program. Click on the Auth 0 button in the center of the screen. Both you and your client must log in with the email address that is authorized for use of the program. For your convenience, you may select from these account options or create an Auth 0 account. Alright, so let's continue and I'll show you how to use the assignment planner for a brand new client. After you log in, you'll see your client's emails, any of your current clients listed in the client directory. And you can scroll to find the client that you want to create an assignment for, or you can just start typing in the client's email address and it should pop up and you click on that to highlight it. Now if this is a brand new client, there won't be any sessions or assignments in this assignment box. So we're going to create a new one. And you can call it whatever you want. I'm going to call it Session 1. And so when you enter that new assignment label, the bottom portion of the planner opens up, and this is where you're going to select your sounds and enter any content you would like about those sounds. So there's our label, Session 1, and it shows the date that you are creating this assignment. And if you don't want the assignment to display right away, then you can change the date and make it something in the future. Or you can uncheck this box up here. If the box is not checked, the assignment will not display on the client's program interface until you check it. By default, the box will be checked, however. Alright, so we have our first session. We're going to select some sounds. I'd like to work on R blends, so I'm going to put several in there. And those display down here under Select Sounds box. There's an X by each one. If you decide, no, I don't want to work on that sound after all, you can delete it. It will ask you to make sure that you would like to delete it. Over on the right here, assignment title. You can call this whatever you want. I'm going to call it R blends, or maybe R consonant blends. That's the label or the title of the content, and then you can make a note here to your client. Just a general statement. You can put as much in there as you want. There's an edit box up here. You can bold, underline, italicize, increase the font size, change the font color, center, use bullets. You can put links in there, and there's also a drop-down box for special characters and the IPA symbols. And down below, if you'd like to say something about each sound, Then you would click to highlight the sound you would like to write about. The default in the description box that your client will see will just, if you don't do anything, it'll at least say what that sound is, the PR blend. But you could put a title on it if you want. This is just for this first one. And then make a note about it. A tip or suggestion. And then go on to the next one. You'll notice there's no save button or submit button. Everything is saved automatically, so you can just move seamlessly through each feature. Here's the DR blend. And you don't have to say anything for all of the sounds if you don't want to, or it's up to you. These little information symbols, if you click on it, you'll see how the content that you entered will be displayed on the client side, and I'll show you the client side in just a minute, but you can just double check your display here in case you want to make some changes. Up in the upper right corner of the planner, this is the box that will display whatever you would like. It will appear as a button on the tab on the far left side of your client's planner. This is where all their assignments will display. The default is assignments, and you can type in whatever you'd like. If you'd like a different word there, like sessions. Right next to the assignment tab is a little information icon, and if they click on it, that could have just like a welcome message. It's not a large content box, but you can put something in there if you'd like. And underneath there is a larger content box, and the information in here will display on the interface, and it will also be included in the automatic email that your client receives the morning after you create their assignment. And I went ahead and put in a default message. I thought it might be helpful for some trainers to have this for their clients. It's a step-by-step suggestions on how to use the practice program. However, if you'd like to word it differently or include something else in there, you can certainly just click and highlight it and delete it, or edit it however you would like. It will be the same message in this box each time an automatic email goes out for that particular client. If you want to change it one week to something else, then you would edit it or delete it. This will appear for each one of your clients unless you change it, unless you do something differently with it or delete it. Okay. And just so you could see what that looks like, you can click on the icon here. There's the welcome client header, I guess you could call it, and then the content box there. Underneath that client content box is a trainer notes area. This is just for private notes to yourself that you can include here for your client that is saved. Maybe you just want to remind yourself about working on a particular thing or an observation that you've made. The information in this area will not display on your client's interface. Okay, now let me tell you about how to use templates. I've automatically included some optional OPT, optional templates in the template area. If you would like to use them, you may. If you don't want to use them, you don't have to. Remember, only the things that you put over in this area are displayed for your client. Anything else would be over here. This is a template. These just stay there when you use them when you want to. Just to show you what an optional template looks like, I selected what I thought would be some of the most common assignments that might be needed, and then I selected those sounds and I entered content for each one, and you can take a look at that. Again, you can edit any of this content that you'd like. If you don't want it in there, you can delete it. If you want to edit it, go right ahead. So when you select, if you want to use one of these templates, what you need to do is get it over here in the assignment box so you can customize it. All right. So you click on, let's say you want to use the optional template final b, d, g. So you click and drag it over into the assignment area, and then you click on it again so that this bottom area opens up so you can create or customize or edit the assignment. Remember, this label here is what your client is going to see. This is how the assignment will be labeled when they hover over their assignment tab. So you don't want it to say OPT, right? Final BDG. You probably want to call it something like Session 2. So that's, you would change that here. And notice when I hit the tab button, it's going to change it up above as well. All right, so now we have Session 1, Session 2. There's my date. The sounds are already in there because it's a template, so you don't need to look for them because they are already there. I have a session title here, final voiced consonants. I have some content about the final voiced consonants. And then if you click on each one, remember when you're doing this from scratch, you would click on the target sound and then enter some content over here in the content box. But this is already entered for you. And again, you can edit this or delete it if you don't like it. But each of the sounds in the template has some content about it. Okay? So your other option, there's 10 optional templates in here, and those will just stay in there permanently. You don't have to use them if you don't want, and if in fact if you want them removed, you can just contact us and we will remove them permanently from your planner. And keep in mind also that you could edit this, right? As soon as you bring it over into the session area, like for example, let's say on Session 3, I like the idea of working on initial p and t, but I don't want to work on the k sound. So I can edit that if I want to. Call it Session 3, and I don't want to work on that initial T. I only want to work on the first two plosives. So again, there's already content put in place. If you want to use it, you can. If you don't want to, that's okay. But the original template is still there in your template box for you to use if you want to. Okay, so how about if you want to make your own template? Let's say you created an assignment for someone, and you know that you will most likely use this assignment for another client. It's a pretty common one, right? The blends. So you can make this a template by clicking and dragging it over into the template box. And when you do that, it's still going to be here for your client, but you're saving this template because you know you might need to use it for another client right away. But you don't want to call it Session 1 because that doesn't tell you anything. You want to be able to look in your template and right away identify what sounds are these. So you can call it R blends. And there you've changed the name. And next time you need an R blend template, you can click on it and it's already filled out, has all the information and content you want, and that saves you quite a bit of time. The check boxes over here are by default. That means that if this assignment is checked, that it will appear in your client's interface almost immediately after you create it. Please note that even though we're creating this assignment on 8/24 and all the assignments are checked, the automatic email that is just a friendly reminder to your client that their new assignment is ready does not go out until the next morning. But if you want your client to start practicing right away, let's say you've made the assignment right after your session with them and you'd like for them to be able to start practicing that evening, then just send them an email from your own account and tell them your assignment's ready. When you log in, you'll see session 2 or session 3 when you hover over the assignment or session tab. Otherwise, they're still going to get a friendly reminder the next morning that says they have a new assignment ready, and it'll have this information in it, and it will have this information, whatever assignment label you have given it in this box here. So I showed you how to create a template using an existing assignment, one that you think you might use again for other clients. You click and drag it over into the template box and then change the label to reflect what it is so that you'll be able to identify it. How about if you want to create a brand new template? You can do that here by entering the template name, and let's say I'd like to have a template for the Jack London reading passage, so I'm going to call it Jack London. And when you enter that in there, the work area displays and you can start entering your content. Now it doesn't matter what the date is here because you're not assigning this yet. You're just creating a template which will live over here in the template area, so it doesn't matter about the date. You will want to select that particular lesson though under your sounds box. There it is. Whoops, didn't mean to select Rockefeller, just Jack London. And I can give it a title, reading passages, and I'll select that because I want to say something specific about it. And then again, enter any content you want here. So now this will be a template that will be there whenever you want it. There it is. When you do want to assign it to the client, then you would click and drag it over into the assignment box. Click on it again to highlight it so that it will appear down below, and then you would change the label name to whatever session it is, session 10 maybe, and make sure the date is what you want. If you're not ready for it to display yet, you would unclick this. If you do want it to display, leave that box checked, and then your content will automatically be included in the content boxes. Okay, now let me show you how this information that you entered on the planner displays on the client side. So after they log in, they will see a Sessions tab over on the left corner, and that is labeled that way because that's what you entered in this box over here on your planner. The content under the information symbol will show up in this pop-up box, anything that you typed in this area, and they can resize that box however they want. They can leave it there, or they can minimize it, or they can close it out. Under the Sessions tab is each one of the assignments that you have created for them that are over here in this area. There's session 1. There's a little information tab that contains the label that you created over here and any content that you entered as a description of that session. Then when they move on out, they're going to see each of the sounds within that session and any content that you entered in this area down here. Remember, when you entered content for each sound, if you have any, it will display in that pop-up box. And again, they can minimize that or they can close it out. There's the Jack London passage. Good. Okay, also wanted to tell you that when you're first starting to use the planner, you may need a reminder about what these different areas and these boxes are. So we have what are called tool tips, and there's a toggle button here. If you hover over it, it says click here to hide or show the tooltips for the input field. So I had them deactivated while I was demonstrating this to you in this tutorial because they kind of get in the way after a while. But if you want to leave them active, you just click on this, and then when you hover over a certain area, it's going to bring up a tip for you, reminding you what this particular area is for. It's just kind of a nice way to have a reminder of, you know, what you're doing in this particular spot, adding or editing existing assignments or creating a template or moving a template. And then once you're used to filling out the planner and you don't need the tooltips anymore, you can come back up here and click on it and it will deactivate them. Okay, I think I covered just about everything. Please let me know if you have any questions, and I hope you enjoy using the practice program assignment planner.